All right, this is APBC calculus, and we're doing midterm review. This is multiple choice 13, which is a calculator multiple choice question. Two particles start at the origin and move along the x-axis from t is 0 to 10. Their respective position functions are given by x1 is sine t, and x sub 2 is e to the negative 2t minus 1. For how many values of t do the particles have the same velocity? Okay, so your job on a calculator section is to translate what this means, right? So what does it mean to have the same velocity? And then your calculator is going to do the work for you. Well, velocity is the derivative of position. So what they're asking is, how many times does x prime of, like x, or x1 prime of t equal x2 prime of t? So basically, you're going to have to find those derivatives, right? And then you're going to put them in your calculator and second calc intersect. So x1 prime of t is going to be a cosine of t. x2 prime of t is going to be an e to the negative 2t times a negative 2, or you're probably going to write it as a negative 2e to the negative 2t. You then want to put, now I'm going to put this in either as y1 and y2, and then just count the intersections, which is fine. So you can either do like y1 is cosine of x, and y2 is negative 2e to the negative 2x, and you could second calc intersect. So this is one option. You could do it like this, or not even second calc intersect, and then you could count the number of intersections, right? Or, and I think either of these is fine, or you could put your y1 in your calculator as one of them minus the other and second calc 0, right? Because you could, if they're equal, right, you could subtract over and say, hey, cosine of x minus a negative 2e to the negative 2x, right? And then I would be looking for the zeros, right? So then I would be counting the zeros. Either of those is fine, right? Make sure you're using the window they gave you, which is 0 to 10, and make sure you're in radian mode. So I go to my mode, I double check I'm in radian always. I'm going to clear out some functions that I was graphing for the last midterm review for the APAB kids. So I'm going to do cosine x. I prefer the 0 method, and I'm just going to give you my logic for why I prefer the 0 method is I think it's physically easier to see where there are zeros than it is to see where there are intersections, because if I'm looking for zeros, I know that the y value is 0, so I only have to adjust my x window. But if I'm looking for intersections, I might have to adjust both my x and y window to be able to see those intersections. So I'm going to go to window. I know they said go from where t is 0 to 10, and remember, in this case, when I'm using my calculator, x is standing in for t, right? So I'm using x as t, and then I'm looking for the zeros. So I think the standard window is fine for the y's, but I didn't want a standard window for the x's because I want to make sure I'm only counting the window that they asked for. So I'm going to graph it, and I'm going to count 1, 2, 3. There are 3 times, and so my answer is D. If you had gone for second calc intersect, that's also fine, right? And I'm going to screenshot this real quick and drag it over because I will upload this PDF as well as my as well as the videos, just so you have extra work. My bad. Listen, extend page. Okay, so I did it this way. You could certainly do it the other way, but I did it this way, and then I just counted. I didn't find what the zeros are because they just asked how many. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3 times. It's like the owl with the Tootsie Roll Pops. And that's it.